What is good? Yo, yo, yo. So I'm about to go check on I got the mic set up where it need to be. I appreciate you for tuning in, whoever viewing. I'm about to check my audio. Let me know, comment if you in the live stream right now. Comment if you can hear me clearly. I know last live stream I didn't even realize I should have did an audio check that my audio wasn't that great on my last live stream. So I got a little bit different audio setup. I want to make sure that my audio is coming through clear, it's coming through loud. If I'm too loud, let me know. I want to make sure that this is quality when I am streaming and talking about business, talking about different things that can help people. Because if you can't be heard, it can't be helping people. So let me know. If you're watching this, if you can hear me, put a one, put a thumbs up, put a check mark, put whatever in the chat real quick. I'm about to do my own little audio check. So if I don't get no responses, I'm gonna go do my own little audio check too. Let me see. Let me see. So let me know. If you're watching this, if you can hear me, put a one, put a thumbs up, put a check mark, put whatever in the chat. All right, so if you can see, I got myself playing on stream in the background so I can actually monitor myself. If you can see, I don't see no comments, but I see viewers. So hey, I appreciate the views. If no one gonna comment on, so I see that one. And let me check myself on the YouTube um app. So as long as I check and monitor the stream, make sure the stream sound good, even when I view it from the phone, then we Gucci. I'm gonna do one last check, and once this check is together, you already know we gonna be up and going. Gonna comment on. So I see that one. Let me check myself on the YouTube app. So as long as I check and monitor the screen, yeah. From the phone, then we Gucci. I'm gonna do one last check, and once this check is together, you already know we gonna be up and going. So let's see. I want to make sure if I don't speak directly into it, how good the audio is, because I want to make sure that if I'm not speaking directly into it, the audio's still good. So we're gonna check that, then we're gonna get into it. And let me get more center for y'all. I'm usually real more I'm let me adjust. I want to make sure if I don't speak directly into it, how good the audio is. Because I know I want because I want to make sure that if I'm not speaking directly into it, the audio is still good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Check one, check two, check three. All right, bet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Check one, check two, check three. All right, bet. So let's see real quick. Um, the one thing I did notice on maybe this is just on the phone. I think the output level, when I look on the phone, you can't even see the full screen, like my full camera. So I got to figure out like the output to make sure that the video, whatever the output is on the video, is actually coming out correctly. Maybe this is just on the phone. I think the output level, when I look on the phone, you can't even see the full screen, like my full camera. So I gotta figure out like the output. For everybody that's watching, do me a favor real quick. Put in the chat, and I said this before, and nobody put it in the chat. Put in the chat, can you see me clearly? Because I'm really about to get into some fire information today. I'm going over a third generational entrepreneur's guide to passive income. I believe truly that this information is going to help a lot of people that are watching this and that's gonna watch this after it's been streamed. So please, I'm letting you know, please hop on and just let me know. If you're viewing from a phone, you're viewing from a computer, wherever you're viewing from, let me know. Can you see the full screen? Because I see it on my phone that the actual bottom is cut off where I got my Instagram, my socials, everything tagged. Let me know. Let me know. But either way, I'm probably about to get up and get into this. Um, I'll probably go ahead and fix the shape of the stream so that it's not cut off on YouTube next time I stream, and we'll get into it from there. But anyway, I've been checking audio for too long, man. We finna get into business. So let me do the intro for y'all, and then we gonna really get into it. Building passive income is necessary if you don't want to work forever and you want your money to make money for you. I'm going to give you my guide as a third generational entrepreneur on passive income and explain to you why a lot of gurus are dead wrong. Like and subscribe to this channel if you like more content on self and personal development and grow in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. I started building passive income at 18 years old, starting to invest in the stock market, and then bought my first rental property at 19. So, with this information that you know about me now, I'm going to give you my guide on how I got started early so that you can get started right now or better what you're doing currently. If you want to enter my giveaway where I give away 1 year free mentorship every month to one person, go ahead to my Instagram at it's Kuye. You should see it down below and comment, follow me first, and then DM me giveaway, and then you'll be entered into the monthly giveaway. But let me not leave you guys waiting too long. So the first thing I want to get into when it comes to building passive income, the truth behind passive income is the human business philosophy. Because first thing we got to handle is how do we actually get the money to build passive income? The biggest thing that I see people do wrong when they're trying to build passive income is focus on what vehicle is going to be the best. When you're starting out, you're probably starting jumping right out of college or jumping right out of high school, or maybe just being in the workforce working. You didn't even go to college and you just want to figure out, okay, I feel like I'm behind everybody else. I feel like I want to do more with what my life or my future is going to look like. And you've been working this job for a long time. You tired, you wiping sweat off your forehead, and maybe you're doing manual labor, or maybe you at a desk and you like, man, I don't think I can do this my whole life. That was me. And I realized very quickly that the whole 9 to 5, work for 40 years and then retire wasn't the path that I wanted to be on. So I knew I had to get my money to work for myself. But the problem is the cycle you fall into when you're like, oh man, I don't want to do this anymore. You fall into this cycle of forgetting that you still need money to invest. And then you get caught up in the guru ecosystem. The guru ecosystem is where everywhere you turn on social media, when you start looking up passive income and ways to learn how to invest, you find people telling you can do it with no money. Oh, I can go buy real estate with no money down. Oh, I can go buy stocks and flip them with only $1,000. Oh, I can go do blah, 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 blah. They tell you that you can do anything under the sun with less because they know that's going to hook you. They know it's going to hook you because as humans, throughout all history, we've always wanted to get more for doing less. And that's where you have to understand that there's only one way that you're going to get there, and that's by getting the money to invest and making sure you have enough of it. And that's where the human business philosophy comes in. When I work with any of my mentees, whether they're at the middle school, high school, college level, or even outside of college, and I'm working on personal and professional development, I'm telling them about the human business philosophy for one reason. Is that every single person, whether you know it or whether you don't, is a business. Every single month, or let's just say every 2 weeks, if you get paid every 2 weeks, you get some money in. And at the end of the year, you are either profitable or not profitable. Either you got money left over after paying your bills to put in savings, to put in investments, or you don't. And this is what a lot of people forget. We get so focused up on how we gonna buy real estate with zero money, how we gonna flip this $100 into $1,000 in our trading account, that we forget that ultimately, first we gotta be profitable businesses. Me. What does your balance sheet look like? What does your profit and loss statement look like? These are business terms, but let me just break it down to you. What does your budget look like? How much money do you spend on average every single month? Do you even know that? Do you know the answer to that question? If you do not know the answer to that question, that's the first problem. I don't care what you invest in. You shouldn't be worried about what to invest in at this point. First, you need to figure out how much money are you actually putting out every single month. And then from there, actually it's gonna be time to say, all right, I'm saving about $1,000 a month. So at the end of the year, I'm gonna have 12,000. How can I spend this 12,000 on something that's gonna bring me back more money? And that ultimately is when you actually have a reason to look into what am I going to invest into. So now that we done pushed that out the way a little bit and we understand that, then you can start looking into what do you invest into. But first, I want to make something clear. Just because you now have money saved every month that you can invest doesn't mean you stop focusing on how much money you're bringing in. Because as a business, you want to keep increasing revenue. So even though now you got 200, 500, 100, 1,000, however much money you got at the end of the month or at the end of every paycheck, once you pay your bills to go invest and to go save or whatever you're doing with it, you have to keep trying to increase that revenue as a business. You the business first. Before you invest in the business, you the business. So invest in yourself. How you going to increase revenue? Are you going to college? Maybe you don't want to go to college because that's not for you. Are you going to get a trade? You going to learn a skill? You going to get you a little IT certificate so you can get you a better paying job? What are you going to do? You are the business. And I'm going to be honest with you. $100 a month, if that's your profit, if that's only how much you saving, you ahead of most people because most Americans don't even have $1,000 saved. So believe me, you're ahead of most people. But you're still not as profitable as you should be. You don't want to only have $100 buffer. We want to make sure you increase that buffer. So just know as a business, just because you saving money too, just because you don't have all of your money going into bills and you are profitable, you should be trying to increase that profitability. You want to make sure you have more money to save at the end of the month after all your bills. You want to make sure you have more money to invest at the end of the month after paying all your bills. Don't forget that. So we're not going to move right into what to invest in because you first have to realize that as a business, just because you're profitable don't mean you don't want to make more profit. And we can do that one or two ways. The first way, increase revenue, increase the money you're bringing in. You want to make sure you get more skills. Maybe you need to figure out, to sell something else in a business. But as a human, the only thing you really have to sell for the most part usually is your time, unless you have a side business, a side hustle where you sell cakes, candy, cookies, shirts, whatever on the side. But increasing that revenue is definitely the main driver you should be focusing on to become more profitable. But second, you always can decrease your expenses. Now, this is super easy if you're overspending. But then that gets to a point where you can't decrease this anymore because guess what? It costs money to live, baby. We live on planet Earth. Everything can be paid for in dollars. And if you somebody who done already cut down the wasteful spending where you know you shouldn't be spending all this money on fast food and coffees every single day, if that's not the lifestyle you want to keep up. Some people, that's the lifestyle you want to keep up. So you just got to make more money. That's just the real. Some of us don't want to be sitting here pinching pennies and no coffee and no outside food all the time. Like, no, that's why you have a budget. What do you want your lifestyle to look like compared to everybody else's? Because my budget might look different than yours because you want a different lifestyle than I do. I may be cool sitting in the house on a Friday night and not going out for drinks, but this other guy, he got to put aside $100 every single Friday so he can go out with his boys. That ain't me, but that may be you. So figure it out with your budget when you planning how to run your business so you can figure out exactly how much can you cut your expenses and how can you increase that revenue and do both in order to increase that profit so that you have more money left over to invest and to save and to do something with. So now that we done hit on the human business philosophy, I believe we done hit over every major point at this point. I do want to go into the second thing because now we're focusing on, now that we got the money to invest and we understand how to keep getting more money to invest. Secondly, we have to understand what do we invest in. And for that, I have a concept called choosing your buckets. So I'm going to go out here and say that there's one thing that every single person should be investing in first above all other investments. I learned about this when I was reflecting on my family history and just the history of the world in general. We all come into this world, as they say, alone, but do we really? I want you to ask yourself a question. Who came before you? For some people, they grow up with a mom and a dad, and they're able to see what it's like for a man and a woman to work together to create something, whether that's just the child itself or maybe that's the beautiful environment that it was raised in. But other people, they only grow up with a mom or just a dad. They get to see how a person works hard and tries to provide, even though they're only one person for that kid or kids. And they work and they get to see what that person did in order to put them in the position that they're in so that they can go out there and do what they got to do. And one of the beautiful things about watching your parents and then going to live life is you overlook one of the biggest blessings, the biggest investments that you can actually make into the world. What is the biggest investment that you can make? What is the most important investment bucket that you should be considering right now that a lot of us just look past when we live in life? The number one investment bucket that all multimillionaires understand that they need to invest in is family. As a third generational entrepreneur myself, one thing that was made clear in order for my family to continue to grow and build successful businesses, wealth, and just anything is investing in people first. Because who runs all this money? Who runs the world? Who runs the generational wealth that you want to create? It's the family, it's the people. And you want to make sure that when it comes to actually running and getting that generational wealth, you're investing first into the people that's supposed to keep it and supposed to run it. Because how many stories do we know of families and generations just blowing all the money? How many stories do you hear about the families just blowing the money? Whether that's second generation, whether that's third generation, whether that's fourth, fifth, however many we want to talk about. How many stories do you hear about them blowing the money? The number one investment of all time that everybody should be putting money and time into is the family. So if you're thinking about investments like real estate, you're thinking about stocks and crypto and all this other stuff, you ain't thinking about how much time and how many different ways you're going to invest in your kids, how many times you're going to invest in the people that's going to keep on your legacy once you're gone. And not selfishly, of course. You're investing in these people so that they can keep on a legacy so that they can actually enjoy the fruits of the labor and snowball all the blessings and all the sacrifices that the last generations did onto the next. It's not selfish at all. We're not talking legacy here. We're talking how do we make sure that the people that come after us are prepared to steward the wealth that God has blessed you with the knowledge and the mind, the sound mind to get. That's what we're talking about. Shout out my boy Grant. I just saw him comment on YouTube. Bro, I appreciate you, brother. Let me start this real quick, put it up on the screen. Um, Shout out my brother Grant, man. Hey, we got Grant. Good to see you, bro. Cool. Hey, I appreciate you, Grant. I gotta catch up with you, bro. I know you up in Wisconsin, I believe, bro. We gotta catch up, like for real. I was up there with my lady filming a podcast probably 6 months ago. But we gotta catch up, bro. Hit me on IG, brother. Hit me on IG. We gonna catch up for sure. But that is insanely important when we're talking about what buckets to invest in. Because before I talk about real estate, which I've invested in early, before I talk about stocks, which I invested in early as well, and I consistently invest in to this day, the first investment that's most important is how am I going to invest into my family when I create one? Because don't none of this mean nothing if the next generation can't steward it properly. And some people may not want to have kids, but if that's you, then how are you going to invest into the next generation so that if you donate your money or however you distribute it to the next generation, how are you going to make sure that the next generation can properly steward the money? Because as we all know, money is a product of behavior, not a product of just, oh, I get money and I'm good. It's one of the biggest things that we can do is invest into the next generation. And I love when I see family members, I love when I see just anybody in general investing into kids, investing into the next generation, youth, young adults who are trying to do something with themselves. We forget because we so caught up in making money, we forget that the money that we gonna make ain't even gonna belong to us. We gonna die one day. I'm laughing, but we gonna die one day, y'all. Like we really are. So it's one of those crazy things where if we don't properly manage the resources that we're investing, whether that's money, time, energy, whatever, into the proper bucket, if we don't invest it in the proper bucket, then that real estate ain't gonna mean nothing when your next generation of kids don't even want it or can't even manage it because you didn't teach them nothing. You didn't even teach them how to manage the manager because it all got to be managed. But that's the next part. We're gonna talk about that in the next part. But that's one of the beautiful things that I've been blessed to just know and just see firsthand because I do come from a family who's been blessed. And I do want to continue to build myself and be a person of character and integrity so that I can steward the blessings that God put into my family life and myself. But oh man, what's up, Bio? I'm gonna be listening while doing homework. Makai, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man. Definitely make sure you get your homework done, brother. You already know. I know your dad gonna get on you if you don't do that homework, and your mom for sure. But yeah, man, you gonna be graduating soon, bro. I'm looking forward to that. I really am looking forward to that. But let me move back onto this next topic because now that we talked about how to actually make the money to invest, the reality of it, I didn't tell you nothing fancy. I just told you to skip over the roadblock that a lot of gurus are gonna be trying to sell you. Gurus ain't on nothing. Now they got good information. Some of them got good information, but don't get confused and distracted by a bunch of gurus who's just trying to sell you something that you can easily figure out and understand on your own. Like in a foundation of it, they don't even teach you because they assume that you know it, which when you caught up in all they marketing and the thousands of dollars they spending on ads, sometimes you just forget about the basics and you get consumed in they stuff. So now that you know how to make it, you know how to make the money, you know how to properly, you know, increase yourself, your human business, that philosophy that I teach. And then when we talk about the next part, which is which bucket to invest in, what's the most important bucket, which we talked about, family. And then what buckets come after that? Real estate, stocks, assets. We know what assets are. Assets are things that don't take money away from you, but they bring money in. Now, obviously, with real estate, you got to pay real estate taxes. You got to pay property insurance. Yes, you do have expenses with your assets, but the goal is to bring in more income with those assets than you do take out in expenses. So, assets, assets, assets. You can look up tons of assets. I'm not going to explain to you everything, crypto, whatever you want to consider an asset. Not going to explain everything to you, but what I am going to tell you is that the first bucket should always be family. If you don't have a clear vision on how you're going to invest into your family and the next generation right now, and who's going to steward your money, you don't have an investment plan. You just have I'm going to enjoy my life plan. I'm going to build up some money and hoard some money plan. You don't know how you're actually going to distribute that to the next generation. If your goal is generational wealth, just saying. So, lastly, the last step after we just went into how to get the money, where to invest the money, is understanding one concept that's going to actually separate you from everybody else when it comes to actually losing that money. Because we talked about people losing the money, but there's also one more reason they lose the money outside of just forgetting to invest in family, invest in people, invest in the kids or the young adults who are going to be stewarding their money, they wealth that they built. The next biggest mistake is actually something I call the freedom spectrum. So when you're building generational wealth, you're trying to separate your time from the amount of money that you make because you want freedom. But achieving that freedom is actually a little bit more complicated than you think. Whenever you're building something in the beginning, it takes a lot of hard work. You're probably investing into the business and working crazy hours in order to get this business up and running so that eventually your employees can run it. You got systems in place so that you can go ahead and run it more smoothly. And you're doing all these different things, whether it's with real estate, you buying these properties, you fixing them up, you getting the right tenant in. And sometimes you got to go through multiple tenants in order to get the right tenant in that's going to continue to pay and that's going to take care of your property. And that's you're not going to constantly get calls from because they know how to handle some of the basic things. And then a lot of different stuff like that. You're trying to manage your resources so that you can put a lot in up front, because that's really what you're doing is you put a lot in up front so you can get some return later. But eventually you do want to get that return. You want to have that freedom to go ahead and move away from that work and that thing that you just spent time building, whether that's a business, whether that's a stock portfolio, whether that's real estate, whether that's your crypto portfolio or whatever it is, whether that's bonds. You want to be able to step away from the thing that you just took time building. But what most people don't tell you is that you ultimately will never be able to step away if you do it smartly. And why is that? Because there's this thing called the freedom spectrum. And the freedom spectrum is like this. On this end, you have a lot of your time going into making most of your money. And then on this end, you have a little time going into making most of your money. And most people are closer to this end than they are to this end, where they make most of their money with most of their time, and this end, they don't make most of their money with most of their time. But no matter where you're on this spectrum, it doesn't matter, because you can ultimately never 100% step away. And that's because of something called the law of entropy. The law of entropy states that everything over time moves from order, structure, and togetherness into chaos. If you just look at the basic way that the world runs, you'll understand that. The United States, it starts off as a place of freedom and opportunity, or at least that's what they say. And then they start bringing people from Africa and turning them into slaves. They start creating social programs and taking the money away. And you got people that are from the same country that claim to be from different parties, that they're so different, even though they stay in the same place. And they argue online all the time. Like, you go from having something that was meant to unite people to having a bunch of crazy arguments online and about nothing, because we all live in the same country and ultimately pretty much want the same thing for our kids, which is opportunity and fairness, which nothing will ever be equal, but you can't make a fair system. So no matter how the founding fathers envisioned it, which they didn't envision us ever having taxes, because that's why they came away and founded America. They didn't envision us having a lot of things, but ultimately everything moves from order to chaos. So that business that you put in order will ultimately move to chaos if you stay away from it too long. That real estate portfolio that you put together will ultimately move into chaos if you stay away from it too long. That stock portfolio that looked really good, you had all your returns locked in, if you stay away from it too long and you don't shelter that money in a safe vehicle or a vehicle that is less risky, those stocks will go down and you will lose a lot of money. This is the spectrum I'm talking about. And a lot of the successful business owners that I know, they never really step 100% away from their work. They have more freedom to move, but they never step away from their work. A lot of them actually enjoy working until they're really old, until they're like 80s, 90s. My grandfather turns 90 in a couple of years. He's still working to this day. This man is the hardest worker that I know. He will stay up to 12, 2, 3, 4 in the morning doing work, sleep 4 hours, get up and do it again. At 88, he just turned 88 last week. I'm just giving you the real. I'm not telling you something that is a theory, because obviously there are situations where you can stay away for longer, but there's no situation where you will ever be able to 100% stay away. Don't ever let no guru, don't ever let anybody tell you that that's ever going to happen. You will have to monitor your assets. monitor them at the bare minimum if you have systems set up perfectly. But for most of us who are imperfect individuals, who are constantly learning on how to do things, we have to consistently build and rebuild these systems and change them so that they become more efficient. And if we decide to stop learning, the law of entropy will set in on our brains, which is the place you don't want it to set in. Who cares about the businesses? If we stop learning and we stop applying our new knowledge onto these businesses, our brain will start to be affected by the law of entropy. Because just like our muscles, just like anything in our body, if we don't use them, we lose them. So maybe you should rethink about your goal of 100% stepping away. Because yes, you want some passive income, you want your money to work for you, of course. But don't ever let somebody sell you an idea that you're gonna just retire off into the sunset and stop using your brain and stop applying things. Like, I want you to think deeper. And no, if you're somebody watching my content, I believe that people that watch my content are gonna be of the most smart, the most capable type of people. So I'm sure maybe you have thought of this, but if you haven't, and if you learn just one new thing, please like, subscribe, check out my other videos and content. I talk about personal and professional development to help people achieve their goals in the areas of health, wealth, relationship, and happiness. I think that the content today was very valuable, and it's something that I wish somebody would have just straight up told me when I was younger, and that I didn't have to spend time looking through family history, looking through different history books about different dynasties and how they rose and fell, and all these different things in order to look at the big picture patterns when it comes to creating wealth, at least from the passive perspective. And just know that all of that stuff can be wiped out in an instant with war, or if a country falls and you know ends up not the number one country in the world anymore. But that's a story for another day. um, let me see. Got 3 people watching still. Appreciate everybody that's still on here. Um, I've been blessed really just to be able to go ahead and write during the week, and as I write, I'm able to actually learn different things. And as I learn different things, I'm able to give it to, anybody around me that's willing to listen. And I'm not perfect by any means. I want to make that very clear. But everything I do try to distribute on my platforms, I believe in, and I believe that it can truly help people. So if I am wrong, I will say my apologies. And all of this stuff is for entertainment purposes anyway. So I just want to make sure it's very, very well known that um I genuinely do this with a passion, not just any sort of motive to do anything money wise and make money with it. I genuinely think this calms my soul to be able to stream and just talk to somebody, because ultimately, I mean, when I'm off this earth, my videos hopefully still be here if YouTube is around and however many years, man. Maybe YouTube will get taken down by another company, and then I have to go put my videos and stream on there. But by the grace of God, YouTube will still be around, and everybody on the stream will be blessed and continue to make money. Um, just me. I see a brother on here named Just Me. What's your main source of income? My main source of income is from my job right now, my job. I work in the medical field. Outside of that, I do have my business where I go mentor kids. I go into school. I do school program and stuff like that. But the biggest thing I'll say with anybody is that um, don't ever, if you're still building a business, quit your job. I've had too many mentors tell me that when you're building a business, do not quit your job. Yes, I do school workshops and assemblies and things like that, and I put together programming for youth, young adults, and college age, university, all of that stuff. But while I'm not quitting my job, brother. If you're building a business, do it around your job, unless you start making crazy, crazy money. And yeah, main source of income is my job right now, brother. I'll put you up on the screen just so I can respect. I appreciate you commenting in here, brother. Is that Mr. Beast? I didn't even peep that was Mr. Beast on there. That's funny. That's funny. But yeah, bro, main source of income from the job right now. I appreciate you, boss. Let's see. Let's see. Um, but yeah, don't ever forget. As you getting your money from your job, brother, invest in real estate, invest in stocks, invest in business, do everything. I mean, there's no reason not to do everything. You're not going to be perfect at any one thing. So if you're somebody that's, if you understand risk to an extent, you understand that even to make things less risky, investing in different sectors, investing in different areas makes it to where you're more likely to succeed with your investments. It's just a numbers game. And I'm a nerd. I always like math. So um I think that money is less of a hard thing for me. I think the hardest thing, honestly, even though I'm a counselor and even though I work in a medical field, doing working with insurance and a lot of different things at the job level, people are really the hardest part of the equation. Everything else is easy. And the hardest person to control is you. So that's why it comes to me talking about all these different concepts. Most of these concepts didn't talk about, oh yeah, go out into this world and do something. It's talked about managing yourself. Don't let gurus trick you into believing that, you got to be out here doing some crazy extravagant business to actually put a lot of money away and invest in assets. Um, a lot of the stuff I talk about is behavior, and it's stuff that people forget. So they end up spinning their head for months and weeks and years over a simple concept they forgot because they had so many gurus in their ear saying make money with zero with no money, or buy a business with $0 down, or all these different concepts that, yes, they are real concepts, but they're extremely unlikely for any person who doesn't have major experience or major money already. And that's the real that they don't tell you. And I'm not here to misguide anybody. So I appreciate you asking that question, brother, because I mean, it keeps me honest, and it keeps me, being able to be direct with you guys. Um, yeah, because I don't know who this is in the chat. Just me. I don't think I know you because your YouTube picture is Mr. Beast. But bro, I appreciate you commenting in here. Got any questions for me? Hit me on IG and yeah, at it's Kuye. I'll go ahead and move it back here. And yeah, hit me on IG and we'll connect because I connect with everybody, especially since it's not like I got no crazy like I'm not Mr. Beast, got millions of people in my DMs. I definitely connect with everybody that pop in here, even if they not somebody I know personally in person. I appreciate you, brother, for the question. But like I said, I hope that this guide on passive income kind of helped you work through some of the mental and actual issues. Hold on one second. I just got a question. Okay, so I'm gonna put this question here. So the question is, I'm gonna make this question a little bigger. So the question is, I'm just starting to learn how to day trade on paper account over the past 3 weeks. How do you feel about day trading now, and do you think it could be a good thing to do in college instead of a job? Now, keeping it real, when it comes to day trading is something that I believe only 1 to 3% of people can do and be consistently profitable. Meaning there's only 1 to 3% of people on this planet who can do it and get money, that who do it and get money and make money profitably daily. Like they day trade and make money profitably daily. So what I would say to that, me personally, I would say no. I would say that a job is definitely still needed. And also, if you look at some of the most famous like people who teach the day trading space, which I've looked into it, I've definitely learned different things on options and swing trades, leaps. There's different types of trading that they say are more safe types of trading. But what I would say is that I wouldn't not get a job. You can learn day trading on the side and have a job, but with you being in college, you got to figure out how much time you got. Because that's the biggest resource we're dealing with. The thing that you never get back is your time. So this makes you figure out, okay, how much time school gonna take, how much time the job gonna take. Then you figure out, okay, how much time left over do you have for day trading and learning? Because maybe day trading don't turn out to be the thing. So then you start learning about real estate, or you start learning about crypto. Some of this stuff is gonna be just, things that you enjoy now that don't end up being a long-term thing for you. So just make sure that you definitely have a job though, especially with day trading. If you actually are going to try to be a good day trader, somebody that makes money consistently from day trading, um, you're definitely gonna want to have money to put into there. But me personally, um, because I don't like the numbers, 1 to 3% of people are profitable. I would stay away from day trading personally. And there's different types of things that you may want to learn from more experienced gurus like swing trading or leaps. Now, those are things you may not have heard of yet if you just get into day trading, because gurus, they try to, they don't always talk about the best stuff or the stuff that's the most likely to succeed up front. Day trading sound nice because you get to make money daily. So a lot of gurus, they try to tell you about day trading. Oh yeah, I'm gonna trade one day, I'm gonna make $1,000 in 2 minutes. All these different things. There's different ways of trading that are less risky than day trading. Um, but you have to start understanding the terminology of how people in the space speak. So you got day trading, you got options trading, you got futures trading, you got leap trading, you got swing trading, you got, like, these are all different things that I trade in. So like, I want you to make sure you heard what I said. If you got any questions, you already got my number. So text me or just DM me on IG. Anybody that got questions, DM me on IG. But yeah, make sure you understand that there's a lot of different ways to trade, and not all of them are the same. So some people may use the word trading, it means futures. One person might use the word trading, it means leaps. Some people may use the word trading, it means options. And some people may mean trading, it means stocks. Like, you can actually just trade individual stocks. There's a lot of different things behind that. So I'm just telling you and explaining it to you so I don't give you like a short explanation like a lot of people do, and then just be like, yeah, that's the truth. No, there's a lot of different things. Even I don't know everything that comes with it. So keep educating yourself. That's why the job is so important, because we always got something we don't know. I know there's a lot I don't know. So you don't see, I never stop reading. I never stop educating myself. I'm investing in real estate and stocks and all that stuff right now, but I'm long-term investing in stocks. I'm not doing any trading yet. I might get into swings and leaps later when I got a bigger capital base, but not right now. I would rather just keep putting money in there and investing dollar cost averaging and then buying dips. But yeah, for now, keep educating yourself. Don't ever stop educating. That's why a job is so important, because the hardest thing that we need to get rid of quick is ignorance. Because every second that we live, I'm gonna move the question off the screen. Every second that we live, we're constantly buying down ignorance. There's always something right now that you think is right or you think is true that turns out to be wrong in the future. In the future, self is gonna look back at you and be like, man, this dude was slow. But you don't know what that is yet, because you're not your future self. So the biggest thing that we always trying to do is humble ourselves and make sure we know when we do anything, it's always something. It's always a part of what we're looking to do that we don't understand fully, that can wipe us out, or that can hurt us, or that could, make us lose a lot of money. It don't mean, it's not to scare you. It's to give you the real, and then be like, do it anyway and keep learning. That's the real right there. But that's a long explanation, because I know I want to make sure you good. So yeah, make sure you good with that. Yeah, no problem, no problem. That's the long explanation, make sure you good and everything. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make any content for kids right now. I usually try to do like a little section where I make content for my business page, and then I clip it later. But I think I'm good. I think I done had a decent amount of people pop in here, interact with me. Appreciate everybody that hopped on. If there's anything that y'all need, once again, follow me at It's Kuye on Instagram, X, anything. You'll find me at It's Kuye. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. What type of ideas you want next? DM me on Instagram or comment what ideas you want to see next. And until next time, peace.